Today we're going to be working on our hot water heater. It hasn't worked in about 2 weeks, so today we're going to run through the parts needed and how to run through and test everything and see what parts you need to replace. So tool-wise, it's pretty simple. You need a wrench to remove the element and remove the drain plug of the anode on ours. A regular screwdriver to pop a couple covers off. This is a hose flush so I can get all the materials out of the hot water heater before we refill it, and a multimeter or ohmmeter, whatever you want to call it. Now, parts needed. I'm believing just my electric element's bad, so I have a new electric element. But I also have both thermostats. This is the 12-volt thermostat, this is a 20-volt thermostat, so this one's for propane, this one's for the electric element, and I also have a new anode rod. Our hot water heater is a Suburban. It's an SW12DEL. So pretty much it means SW is Suburban, 12 is it's 12 gallons, and the DEL means it is electric and propane. So, but with that, let's go get started on figuring out exactly what's wrong with this unit and get it working again. Let's make the wife happy. It's been about 2 weeks. Alright, so what we want to do, of course, we're going to start with just taking off the outside cover. Sometimes the trickiest part to it. Set that down out of the way. So you want to make sure this is all off. So inside you get a breaker. Inside we also have a secondary electric switch, and you have the main electric switch down here. You want to make sure that all is off before you do this, so you're not electrocuting yourself. So what I'm going to take these covers off. This top cover here is covering my 2 thermostats. Sometimes it takes a little prying. Get this off of here because it sits in tight. You want to make sure your gasket on this is still good. And then we'll pop off the cover off the element. Again, there's a rubber gasket around this. You want to make sure that's still in good shape because you don't want any water leaking into your element. Alright, so do a few basic tests first. Let's make sure our voltage is off. So we can go right across the element, and you can see the meter. It's at 0, so our power is off. You can also go on the 120 side, back to a ground, and see there's still nothing. So our power is off. From here we want to switch to ohms. Well, let's do it this way. Let's start with testing our thermostats. So here's the thermostat. This is your 120, this is your 12. Alright, and these are resets. So these are, they call them ECOs, emergency cutoffs. This is your thermostat here. So these thermostats down here are rated about 130, 130 degrees Fahrenheit. These ones are preset about a 180. So if these fail and your tank goes to 180, these should kick out, and these are resettable. And if these fail, your valve here is set for, I think it's 210. Yeah, 210 degrees max. And if these don't fail, this will catch the 210 to protect your tank, and this will blow off water. Alright, so on ohms, we want to see if our thermostat's running good. So what you do, you just go across, and you can, I don't know if you can hear the tone or not, but that tells you that thermostat's good. Go across this one. That tells me that thermostat's good. At least I should say there's continuity through it. Same with this. And this. But you can also skip all that and you can just go across everything. Oh, on this side, sorry. Because this just runs through, they're tied together here. So you can actually just one shot do a test on both of them to make sure you go all the way through. Alright, so we have continuity all the way through those, which says the thermostats are good. They might not be coming to the right temperature, but they're not blown. Right? Now on ohms, on the element, and my tank is still full of water, you grab a good element. Alright, so to read across this, we put our meter on 200, and this should read roughly 10 on a good element. Right there, 9.8. It tells me this element is good. And we go across this element. It's reading 9.9. So that element is also possibly good. It's always good to have spare parts. So from there, I want to turn the power back on, because what I want to do now is test my voltage on my element, make sure I'm getting power there. Maybe it's to make sure it's not a bad switch. Alright, so I went inside, I kicked on the breaker, I kicked on the inside switch, and I have turned on the outside switch. So we should get 120 volts here at the element, which we do. You can see that. And I've never read across the thermostat. I'm assuming if we go to there, yep. So you can see the meter not, I've got 118 volts. So that tells me our electric's good. It's coming through the switch to the thermostat down to the element. So far all that tests good. But we're not producing any hot water at all on electric. So let's see where we go from here. You know, I should make a clear statement on this. I am not a licensed RV repairman. I'm just a DIY guy that likes to help other people figure out how to do stuff and learn along my way. So I'm going to kill this switch, turn the electric back off. You can verify it's shut off. There's actually no power here now. So I am going to go in and kill the breaker, just in case. It never hurts to be safe. And from there, we're going to drain our tank, pull out the anode. On this, it has an anode in it because it's a metal tank, it's a steel tank wrapped in styrofoam. The anode is designed to pull all the metals from the water to it and slowly dissolve it versus ruining the tank. So let me go kill the power, and we'll come back and we'll get this tank drained. I'm going to move the camera back, so remember when you're working on this, I'm going to kill the electric, and now I'm going to turn off the water. You can feel the relief. Take the pressure off. Oh, you should also make sure you turn off the hot water heater so if it's running you're not getting hot water, scalding hot water coming out at you. Alright, so opening that takes the pressure off the tank. And then we want to pull our anode. So, this is a combo wrench. It's an 1 16" and 1 1/2". 1 16" for the anode or drain plug, and the 1 1/2" for the element. So, let's just see if we can not get wet doing this. This is our anode. So you can see it's doing its job. It's pulling metals out of the water, slowly getting eaten away. Alright, I'm going to replace this anyways. This could be classified as still good, but while we're doing it, we might as well just replace this and put a new one in. Water's still a little warm. Alright, once we pull the anode and drain the tank, this little flush tool, so we want to put this on a hose. We want to flush out any metal elements that are left in here. Let me kick the water back on. I'm just going to run this in and out. Just want to move it around. Alright, so you want to rinse the tank out well. And all you can do is take this, spin it while you're inside. You can actually see the little flakes of metal coming out. Alright, now that we got the anode out, the tank drained and flushed, I'm going to pull the wires off of the element. And get that removed. That makes it a lot easier. It's really not in that bad a shape. Some corrosion on it, but it's pretty good. Yeah, test it. These are 10 ohms across it, which tells me it's good. While we're doing all this, we'll replace it anyways. And on that, I'm going to take the flush and just flush this out a little bit. It's all the same tank. This gives you a different angle. Flush all the elements of the metal out of there. Right, so here's the new anode rod versus the old. So, like I said, the old could probably go quite a while longer. These will thin down, go all the way down to a thin metal wire. But we're going to replace it because we're here. And I want to say it's maybe a $20 part, depending where you buy it from. Or Suburban says it's only use their brand or avoids your warranty. There we go. And the Suburban ones come with the plumber's tape already on. So now you do not have to over tighten these. Should be good about like so. And then we have the new element versus the old. Again, the old one tests good, but we're here. We're going to replace it as well. And the wrench back to her. Now this one doesn't get any plumber's tape. Just want to make it snug, just like so. Put your electrical wires back on. Doesn't matter which goes where. It's 120 volts. tighten those back up. Alright, that's how you change out your anode rod and your element. And with both those testing good, tells me there's something else wrong with this because I'm not coming to temperature. So that's going to lead me to my thermostats. I do have two brand new ones. I think I'll replace them both. You know, because the only thing beyond that, because I know my gas valves are working because it's lights. So I'm thinking that I wouldn't think both would go bad at the same time, but possibly took a surge somewhere in a thunderstorm, or I'm not sure. But I am going to change both those out, and we'll be 100% new except for the control unit on this. So let me go grab those and we'll get those replaced. Alright, so I have two new thermostats. This is a 232-306 is the 120 volt. This is the 233-534, the 12 volt. So these are not hard to remove. It's a 3/8 inch wrench. Pop that off. Don't lose the nut. Board slides off. Attempt to pull the two connectors off. There we go. A little hard pull. 1, 2. You can verify the part number is 2306. Just to make sure, it's 2306. Now a little plastic tab comes, it just goes on here. This pushes on, that's the reset button. Get your wires back on. Boom, boom. Nut back on. Again, don't overly tighten it. Just want it snug. I'm going to change out the 12 volt. Same thing. Wires put back on it. And that's pretty much all there is to it. We changed the anode rod, we changed the element, we changed out both thermostats. I'm going to close the blow-by vent, and we should put water back to this and fill it back up. Make sure we don't have any leaks here or here. If we do, we need to just tighten them up a little more, but I think they're both going to be good. And we'll give it a shot, see if we've got hot water again. I'm really hoping I do, or else my wife's going to shoot me. Only thing we haven't changed on this so far is the control element, but we know we have voltage to everything. We know everything is new now, so we know the element's good. We know the thermostats are good, so let's see what we get. I'll update you as we get forward on this. So the repairs we did to the hot water heater yesterday worked. I believe I'm going to say it was both thermostats were bad. The element was good, but it's nice to have scalding hot water again. My wife is happy. It's only took me 2 weeks to get all the parts and get it fixed. So with that, all the tools we used, the specialty items, the wrench, the rinse out wand, all came from Amazon. The parts and pieces all came from Amazon. We'll put links down below. So if you need the parts and pieces, and if I can get the manual for the Suburban, I will I'll put a link to that down below too. Otherwise, I hope this video helps. If you like our channel, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the little bell to get notifications our new videos are up. Thanks, and we'll see you on the road.